Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jersey and we're back with another Hytale build video, and very exciting because taming is coming, and that really motivated me to start building the different stable, housing, playpen, anything for all the different type of animals. So we got the first build that we ever did, that I was my first time building on this type of game, and we did a barn, but now we're doing a second one, kind of more in between of a barn and stable. Now this is, I'm thinking this is gonna be either for my sheep, maybe the horses when we can tame it. Either one of those, I think this one will work, but I think I'm leaning towards the sheep because that way I can start harvesting and all of that, and I think this one's gonna be for this. So as you can see, we made this beautiful building. I did the cauldron just so we can have the water, like a simulation of water. We're using the trap doors to hide the cauldron and make some water. Now we did some double doors here, that way they kind of look like stable doors, you know, just kind of in and out, in and out. And we did two of them so we can keep one side open, so the sheep, if we ended up putting that here, they can go in and out and all of that. Now when it comes to the decoration and anything you want to do, you can change it. You can make it bigger, longer. You don't have to have this in the front. You can just keep the animals on the inside. It's really gonna be up to you and to your taste. As you can see over here, we use a lot of oak, and we still use a lot of the softwood for the stair to create the detail of the pillars. Now I am still in the first biome, in the first zone, into I've kind of complete my idea that I want to do here for our farm village area. I'm still using a lot of those early resources on purpose. Now and then we do use something extra, something different to accommodate, but most of the time it's still going to be the early resources, right? Now, one of my favorite things is that it was aligning this particular barn side entryway, because we got 4 entryways. We got the one in the front and the back, and then 2 on the side. And that is aligning it with the arch garden, so when you look through it, it just looks beautiful. Now we do have windows here. We got a double door. We're using a flooring on the inside, as you can see in here. We still got one of the feeders also in here as well, just to give it a little bit more. Now once we have the animals, I will know more about how to continue the decoration, but I tried to put as much detail as I could in this build with the early materials. And this is our storage area, so if the sheep are gonna go here, then we can keep some of the food that is supposed to be for them, and also the equipment, and also when we shear them, we can put everything over here, so we do have a place to keep all of that, right? And that to me is important. And again, you can make this storage any way that you want. This is just my little layout, the way I wanted to do it. Now on the top we have like the attic, right? And I didn't do anything with it. If you end up doing this build, you can put a lot of storage here. You can do a little low bedroom. If you, instead of having the roof so low, you can have it higher. I'll let you decide, because it doesn't affect the build. If you want to make the roof higher, it's gonna be up to you. Then you just make the pillars taller, right? Everything at the end, it should work. I just didn't need that space, so I did brought the roof a little bit lower. Now on this side, we do have another pen back here for the sheep, and then we got like a stack of hay and stuff like that, just to give a little visualization on the wall that is the one that is supporting all the chests and all of that, right? But this is the build. Now one of my hardest part was to do the roof in the middle. It was never meant to be an archway like that. I really wanted kind of the other two, and like always I did struggle. And I think one of the parts on this video, of course, when you're watching it, that section I took out like all the bad trials, but it's a little long, so be patient, you know, to see how I did it, and then you should be able to follow. Also, don't forget that you can slow down the video on YouTube if you need it to be a little bit slower, so you can follow along a little better, and then just mute the audio, so so everything doesn't sound very slow, and then from there you can just follow along the build, put your own soundtrack and music, and enjoy. Now this is one of our latest build that continues to evolve the area, right? And I really am enjoying the game so much. I can't stop thinking and going getting resources and thinking what's going to be next. Now what we're going to start is with the foundation of the main building all the pillars into the correct height. So it's going to, I believe it's going to be 5. Now something that I have mentioned in the past, if you're following along, and again, maybe you already muted me, that way you can kind of count and go along with what I'm doing. I don't tend to kind of delete or redo my build and do it again. It's just right now I'm just enjoying the game, and I just record the whole time that I'm playing and building, and then I try to edit the best way that I can. I am trying to come up with better techniques, so when I'm doing, especially when there's a lot of duplication, then I try to do it on one end first, see how I did, and then duplicate it a little bit better on the other side with a little more clean build. But as you can see over here, if you're counting along, we got our separation. We're building the skeleton of the building. I always find, like, as I keep learning to build in this game, this is one of the best way to kind of start, at least for me right now, is kind of building the foundation. Now it is a little bit easier sometimes because I kind of do a little bit of test, and then this part is easy to take down, and then you kind of rebuild it after you kind of counting. So I am trying to get better on that, right? And that way the editing and when you're following on is just a tad better. Now when it came to making the entryway, as you see right there, since I am building this in my farm, I really wanted the pathway, because I imagine that once you're inside the building and you're looking towards that side of the farm, you're gonna see the beautiful archway, right? And again, depending how you're building or where you're putting this, you will have your own section, your own reason where you want to face this barn. I could have faced the front towards the garden, but no, I decided to go sideways because I'm visualizing something else that's gonna go in the front for this barn, right? And that's, in a way, when you're designing your area, your section, sometimes you just gotta imagine a little bit better or plan it out a little bit better and see and where you can fit it, right? And that was one of the things. Now something that when I choose this location, and I think I should have pushed it a little bit forward, because I got in the back, I got very close to where the fencing is gonna be, and that kind of ruined a little bit of the back, not the actual build, but the way my rows were gonna go. But at the end I was able to fix it by doing the row a little bit closer. Now as you can see, we're putting all the beans, we're almost done. So once you do the measurement of the counting in the front, then it's gonna be really easy to follow the back, because you're just doing over here. I'm just double checking that if I'm imagining a walkway over here, it's gonna meet all the way to the barn, and the barn is kind of connecting, and that's kind of how I'm planning my walkways. It's kind of imagining the build, and I wanted to be attached to this. That's how we did the first barn, the first garden, the second garden. That's how we did the well. That's how we did the storage farmhouse, and then that's how we did the archway, right? It's just for me, it takes me a little long since Hytale came out, and we only up to here still. Is because especially because I like to plan things out. Okay, so now we're gonna connect all the frames. So this part, it should be pretty easy, pretty straightforward. No counting needed, right, on this section here. So we just count, attaching everything over here. Now one thing that I will say that you will see, I was trying to do this particular barn in the style of what we did with the farmer's storage, right? And I started using the white birch. I think I'm saying that right. Trying to use that to create that tone, because I already had 2 buildings that kind of match the original barn, right? And then I was gonna have 2 of this. So the farmer's house and this building were supposed to match. But something is didn't look right, and you're gonna see that later on. And then we swapped it to the block piece that we use in the windmill, and that's how we swapped it. And then I changed some of the blocks that we use here of the white one, and we swapped it back to the dark oak wood, right? And then that made the build for me look a lot better, and we're gonna talk about that when we get to that point, because it's gonna be up to you. You can use any block that you want here, right? Any block, any style from any zone that you want. I'm using this because, again, everything that I'm gonna try to do in the village, I'm trying to do everything like in the first biome, the first resources. So when I move on to the next, once my idea is laid out here and I move on to the next zone, then I want to start using the resources from there. And then at one point, once we get a little more ahead in the future, then combine all the resources to do. So it's almost all like a learning curve, and all the other ideas that I want to do for this area and the other buildings are also part of being in this specifically zone. So that's why I want to do it that way. Okay, so now we're doing the side of the building. We went ahead and added the windows, as you can see right there, and we already got one side, so we're doing the other. And again, I really was trying to match the aesthetic of the farm storage and doing it over here. And again, we're doing also the haystack. Now, after this building, I'm gonna do another building, and that one will be more like what we did with the blacksmith building. I don't know if the roofing will be the same or be a different color, just depending. It won't be hay, so it probably will match more of the blacksmith. And then that one's gonna be a very cool idea. So I won't give it away yet, but don't forget to hit that like and subscribe so you can see what's coming up next as we continue to build. Now, I left this walkway here in the edit because I wanted you to see how it looks from far away. That's something that I also planned, and why I put this building in this distance, again, for my village, right? I just wanted to be a little far away. I wanted to see it from a distance, and then we're gonna fill in the area with a couple ideas that I have that are gonna bring this back section now a little more to life. And we still gotta do the potato farm, I believe. We still gotta do the rice farm, and there may be one more thing right now that I've unlocked that I still need to plan. So then that I can start, oh, the onions, and that way I can still then level up the workbench. So again, I'm playing a little slower than a lot of people, but I am enjoying the journey. Okay, so once you do the side, we're coming back to the front. Again, I'm trying to imagine how I want this to work. I'm still using some of the white blocks over here. And now I'm trying to organize how this front, right? Because the main thing that I want here to happen is I want 3 points, right? One, and the two in the corners and one in the middle. Of course, the middle didn't work out the way that I wanted to. And again, sometimes I get better and sometimes I struggle just a little bit. But we're kind of doing everything in blocks, because then the roof sits on the block. Now, this time I did get it a lot better, and I was able to calculate the blocks one more lower, because I remember that when you attach the roof, it's gonna basically be a block, right? So I am getting a little bit better when it comes to that attachment. Now, it was a little bit tricky making the middle roof attaching to both of the sides and the back. I did struggle a lot. So there's a big chunk that I left, so you can see all of that, but all the other trials and failures, they kind of got edited out. But one chunk, it was so a little confusing that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to leave this in, be patient, watch it, and then it should be able to work and flow a little bit better and understand what I did and how I was managed to fix it. But one of the first things that we're gonna do now is doing the roof, and then we're using the piece. Now, if you like this building and you don't want to use like the hay roof right here, then you can use any roof that you want. Again, this particular any of the builds that I feel like that you watch and you want to try to do it, try to build or build something similar, the great thing is that you truly can do any other piece that you would like, and then just make it fit the style of what you're working on, right? And I think that is a really cool thing about games like this, that you can just kind of do what you want and make it feel and match your stuff. You like the idea, and all you need to do is just adjust it to fit everything else that you have built and done. Now, after we do the first initial piece, now we're doing the 2-block one that is just a little bit wider, so we can start curving the roof in. Because, you know, the thing is about barns, especially the top of the roof, is not pointy, right? It's rounded. Now, I wanted a little more pointy in the front just to give it a little bit of a different, but the main top of the building is usually round. And this one actually came out a lot better than my first build ever in Hytale. I'm already seeing so much improvement and so much that we have learned from doing other builds that we are applying here. So it became a little bit easier in that sense, right? The whole build. But still, when you're trying to do fancy roof work, let's put it that way, fancy roof work, right? Connecting to give it a little more depth and dimension. That's when still I am learning. I am learning a lot. But as you can see, I finished one side, so now we're doing the other side. You're doing, again, the small piece over here. And, you know, whichever way you need to approach it, sometimes I have to stop and start from one other end, stop, go back to the other end. Whichever way you need to do it to make it flow better for you, just, you know, just do it. And maybe you have a better way to attach all the roofing compared with the way I do it. And maybe you leave it in the comment and you will give me a good advice. Again, if I know some people don't like it when I'm in third person sometimes building, I'm trying to be better at that. First person does give me motion sickness, so I do struggle a lot with first person. One of the reasons that I can play Hytale is because there is third person, and I'm very thankful for that, because sometimes I just need to go third person, work a little bit in third person, and then I can go back to first person. So but I'm trying to be a little more aware. I know I had a comment the other day and somebody said that it's just a little hard to follow sometimes in specific angles when I'm in third person, and I completely understand that, and I'm trying to be a little more aware and then try to do a little more in first person when I'm doing a little more of that work. But again, sometimes you're just building, you get in the groove, and sometimes I forget to get out of third person because I'm accustomed playing in third person. Okay, so now that we kind of attached the front, if you saw in the front, right, I left some gap. That's because we're going to work on the roof that's going to come from that direction going backwards. So that's why we left the roof like that. So now we're going to do the side and all the way, and then we're going to attach it in the top with the flat part, and then it's going to be really nice, and we can start working on the other stuff. And then again, we are getting closer, and when it comes to the outer shelf of the building, right? Now, when it comes to the inside, since I'm just putting the roof here, when it comes to the inside, don't forget that the way I laid it out, you don't have to do exactly that way. If you don't want the beams, you don't have to have the beam. If you just want to have one and make the gates different, go for it, right? The great thing, again, I will mention again about games like this, is that you can make it fit what you want, right? Sometimes you just need that idea, that outer shelf, that inspiration, and then let your creativity fit the style that you are doing for the base, for the scenario, for anything that you are doing. You just make it work for that. Same thing with the roof, changing the colors, changing the wood, changing anything you want. You want dirt, you want grass, you want cobble, you want stone, whichever thing is that you want, you just do it, right? And the best thing to do in games like this is to be happy about what you're working on, right? And that's what I hope. I hope people are happy, they get inspired, do what you need to do, and build, right? And be inspired. Okay, so now that we attach this other part, now we're gonna work on the top. Now we are just doing the little flat part, and this is something that I could not get right on my original barn. Now you see over there, look at it. Woo, first build ever in Hytale, still there, still standing. I done a little tweaking for what I learned and added a little extra detail, and it's still made out of cobble and stone because it just feel like it's like, oh, it's the first barn we made out of stone. It's gonna stand the test of time. It's gonna be there forever. But this one, I did want it to be a little more, let's say a little more on the prettier side, detailed side compared with the first one, especially on the outside. We did put a little more detail and a little more effort on this one on the outside, but I still wanted to feel like a little country, a little in the style of village that we're building here. So I did want that to match. I didn't want to go too fancy, but still fit the atmosphere, right? Okay, so you see we're just going all the way along over here. This is gonna be 3 panels that you're gonna do. So 1, 2, 3, and once you get it all done, then we're gonna move on to the next stage. Now, something here that happens to me is sometimes if I'm not paying attention, that block twists, and then you see it later on, you're like, oh my gosh. And I know it's in the top, nobody's gonna see it usually, but I know it's there, I know it's crooked, and I need to fix it, right? I don't know if any of you that happens and it bothers you, but if I see it, then I need to fix it. And sometimes a little trickier because sometimes you move around and you're trying to build this in a hurry, like that piece right there, see? And then sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't. So it's gonna be, it's just, I don't know. I just want it to where it's just too bad that doesn't register in a way to match. But I understand, because sometimes twisting things like right there, some people like a different texture, just going different angles. So it's really good that you can do that. So not a complaint, it's just something that I wish sometimes I notice quicker, so I can catch things. Okay, so now that we got part of that roof, I like to always stand back, see how everything's looking. If I like it, that's great, then we continue to work. When I stand back like that, and you see me doing that quite a bit, it's just I need to see. And the great thing with third person, I can see a little more proportional to the character. And again, that's something that helps me a lot, to see if the buildings are going to be proportional to the character and to the world. To me, that is important. It's okay, it's not for everyone, nobody thinks like that. I like things to be a little proportional, especially when it comes to the character. And that's okay, because sometimes things are so big that it's fine, it's meant to be like that, right? But on this particular things that we're doing, I'm trying to make it to be very accurate to the model of the character. But again, that's my decision and why I'm approaching it that way. Okay, so here it comes a little bit tricky. So you saw that we started adding the roof on the bottom of the part, and now we're gonna start working on the roof on the middle here. Now, I really thought it was easy, and then I had to like take a bunch of chunk out, come back, do something else, and then come back and work from the opposite side. The opposite side, I started to get it right, so that meant that I could fix the side that I'm working on. But again, I like leaving sometimes mistakes like this. I know some people don't like to see it. I completely understand that. But I think sometimes it could help people see that it's not just one person that struggles or everybody's perfect. I like people to know that not to give up on what they're working on, right? If you have an idea, keep working it until you really it can be done, because sometimes it just needs a little bit more. There were times in this little section here that I wanted to give up, that I wanted to like, oh, I can't do this, it's not working, let me redesign it. But something also is like, you know what, let me try this, let me try that. Because, we're learning. Sometimes it's just one roof piece that you're using wrong to make it connect. Maybe you need the extra height, but you got to do it with this one piece compared with the other one. And that is technically, in a way, what happened here. I'm trying to use all these little pieces because in my mind, I'm trying to make the roof do a specific thing. One that I can do that, then I need to figure out, okay, if I can go this way, it has to be a reason. So that reason has to be maybe a piece. So do I gotta start it from the bottom? Do I gotta start it from top? Do I gotta curve more on the bottom? And then you give that a try and a try and a try until you can start getting things correctly. And basically, again, that's what I went, and like right here, I'm struggling. I'm trying to put the corner, but this is not working. Okay, what happens if I take it out, put it back in? Oh, wait, it covered the hole. But something is not shaping right. Okay, let me take this out again. Let me try this. And again, you could spend a long time, trust me. In the last couple of streams that I was doing, from different games, but sometimes we were talking about Hytale, and I told people, I'm like, the last 2 days I was struggling with this piece roof, right? I would have to stop, log out, come back, do something else, come back, and try it again. And again, I just want to tell people, just don't give up, right? Don't give up on your build. Don't try to just take a moment, take a break, take a breather, and then you can come back and try it again. Now, something that I'm gonna try to get better is sometimes I get so involved in the builds, of course, you know, you're concentrating, you don't even notice it got dark. Like you don't even notice. And I know I need to get better at this. I'm aware of it, and I'm trying to sleep as quick as I can when it allows me, especially when it's getting dark, because I know it's hard to see at night, right? So a good thing that it's now. So see right here, I stop, I give up. I'm like, okay, I can't get the roof right. I'm gonna work on the other stuff that I know I can do at the moment. Take a breather. And again, that is something that you need to understand when it comes to building. At least that's been my experience. If you're hyper focused on one thing and it's not working, and it's gonna get you mad, it's gonna get you upset, you're gonna get frustrated, that means that the rest of your build is gonna suffer. Now, it took me a long time to understand that, and I know when I'm getting to that point, I go, okay, back away, come back another day, come back later, work on something else, and then let it marinate, and then come back and try it again. And that's what I did. And then I don't know why I come back and I start building from the other side, not from this side, from the other side. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I put this piece, it starts building. I'm like, oh my goodness, you know. And again, that's something that we mentioned earlier, right? Sometimes you're just starting out with the wrong piece, and because you start with the wrong piece, then the rest of the time nothing else matching. So now everything that we did, like on the roofing over here, we need to take it out, we need to kind of redo it, because now that we're starting with another type of piece, then things get affected, right? You gotta move things around. And again, this is why in a way this is the longest part, and I could have made this video shorter if I just kind of edit all this junk out. But the problem is, if I was trying to edit it, I could not. I don't know if it would make sense. So I was like, you know what? Leave it in. Leave all of this. It gives me time to chat. It gives me time to talk. And you guys can see the process. But as you can see here, now that I'm kind of getting the idea of the roof, then I'm going to start using the pieces that I need. I was trying to go higher to see if I can do the point. It wasn't going to work. So, okay. So let me start doing the other piece. So instead of going pointy like the other two corners, what we're going to do, we're going to round it up. Now, something that I noticed here is that I didn't put the 2Y in the correct spot. We're going to push it this way. That makes me realize that, okay, so I'm going to have to do now what we did on the top of the roof. We got to use the flat part of the roof also in the middle again. And again, this is not the roof that I really envisioned, but it's okay. Like, and that is the whole point of this whole time that I'm talking while we're building this roof. That sometimes it's okay to adjust. It's okay to incorporate a new idea, a new balance, and just work from there. And once you accept that, you know that sometimes things are not going to work out the way you want it, unless you want to redo a lot, right? And you can do that. Like, I could have just, okay, that didn't work, let me redo the front. But I kind of like what I already had, you know, the width of the door, where I'm going to put the windows, like the whole concept I liked. So you do two choices. You either redo the top part and shift things around, or take a little hit on the roof, be okay, do the best that you can. As long as it looks good, then you're happy, and then eventually you learn from it and do something else on the other one. And that's the route that I went. I was like, okay, I like the part, I can work on the roof. And you can see here, some of the pieces are not meeting correctly. So we're gonna work on all of this. So it's all there. Don't forget to slow down the video, you know, after you hear all this that I'm talking about, or if you don't want to hear it, mute it and go ahead and slow down the video, and you can follow it a little bit better here. But what we're doing is now I'm trying to make the roof connect like it does, right? Like it creates those angles, and sometimes some of the roof pieces can actually clip into the other side. Now, at the very end, there was just two little tiny gaps. Other than that, I think we did pretty good, and I can live with that. It wasn't the perfect. It didn't close every single gap, but you know, I'm okay with that. As long as we can make it work, I'm happy. And again, we're readjusting the roof here because I really want this to meet. So I couldn't go the back way. So I was like, okay, what happens if I go from the side? And you see how the side kind of made everything better? I'm like, okay, So, and this is something that I need to remember then for next time when I'm building. But again, if you're not doing something so identical, that, you know, unless you build a lot, sometimes you don't remember. But now it did what I wanted. It went click and connected the pieces, and it looked really good. So I was very happy. So I was like, okay, so now I just need to work on the side. So we did have to delete one block over here to make this new roof piece is the one that fixed everything. But it wasn't gonna it wasn't what I meant to use in the beginning. So you see that little gap in the corner there, there's gonna be one there and one on the other side, and to me that is okay. I mean, you can barely see it and you know about it because I told you, but again, it's not the perfect connection, but I'm okay with it, and I prefer having this and then continue to work on the build. So again, we delete one block on this side, we put in the one of the roof pieces again. It's not connecting correctly. That means that we may have to do a little one. We did that. Now we're connecting there and there. And then again, here we need to just adjust here. I don't know. I'm checking on the other side because I was like, okay, wait, I kind of made it work, right? But those are the two little sections over there that are just a little bit opening. But other than that, again, it's not perfect. If you can get it right, tag me on it. Any other socials, I would like to see it because you probably figured it out and I couldn't. Okay, so over here we're still using the birch, right? We're finally over with the roof. Now we're gonna move on. And like I said, the roof that section was the longest. But over here, again, I have a problem with the roof pieces that I wish it was the same color as the roof or something, because when it does the edging, it bothers me when you do another block. Now, that's my problem. I've talked to other people in my community that are playing Hytale, and that doesn't bother them, but it bothers me, right? And yeah, I wish I either, if the roof detects a block underneath it and matches that block for some reason, but I know that can create another problem, many problems when you're building, so probably not a good idea. Or I wish that you could select your own, right? So I want to use the hay roof. It's made of softwood, and it's the birch is softwood, so give me two options. Give me the dark and the white, because that's what I will like, because the edging throws me off. And again, I know this is a blocky game, it's part of it, it's part of the charm, so people really like that. But I do try, I didn't like it, so eventually we're gonna have to replace all of that. At the end result that you saw in the beginning of the video, I think it looks a lot better. But again, if you already saw in the beginning of the video and you like what I did there, and then you can start using those blocks. That is basically, again, just doing a lot more oak and all of that. Now, you saw the roof that I deleted there. I didn't show you when I did that because that was an idea. It didn't work, so I just save a lot of time not posting that. Now that we're doing the hay roof that you saw, but eventually we're actually going to use the roofs going down. I think that made the build look better. Again, you will see that in the beginning of the video, or if you want to see it at nighttime, you can go at the end and watch that. And again, I want this build to match the farm storage house, but it didn't work out because you see, I don't know, it just, I wish again the roofing part we could just work a little bit different, but hey, it's okay. So all of this is gonna replace now. The dimension is gonna be fine, but eventually all this, I believe it's birch wood, is gonna get replaced. This white one is gonna get replaced, and we're gonna do the other one. And I did a little trial. It was not in the video, but I did try also the white plank panel. I didn't like it as well. It wasn't feeling connecting, right? I managed to make it work on the farm storage house, but not here. And again, that happens, but I'm happy that we were able to change it. Over here, I wanted that white beam separation, did not work. So we went ahead and did the oak, just kind of connecting the whole frame now. So another change that we did. So now we got a better window over here. I was kind of liking it. I was like, okay, this is not bad. The size I hate, the front wasn't bad. And that's something that's actually very true. I was happy with the front. It was just the side, but when you change the side, then you need to change the front. At least for me. Okay, over here we're doing, I had an idea to do kind of like outdoor, kind of like I did with the original barn. So we're doing outdoor because I want the animals to be able to go inside and out. At first I did a 7, I believe, but then we're going to change that to 9 on the outside. And then, but again, this part, you can add this if you want to. You can make it even longer if you want to. You can make it wrap around in the front and a little bit to the sides, right? Like it's coming out. And I actually thought about that. And I'm still very tempted to bring it to the side too, like a little, and it runs a little bit to the side before getting to the entryway on the side entryways of the barn. So again, you can go that route if you want to. I may still do that in the future and go that. Now, one of the reasons that I went, and this just explaining why I decided to go 9 here, is because I am looking into the other side of the farm and I'm imagining the walkways that I want to do, you know, which the official walkway, after a walkway, and how to connect all of this. Also, I brought from the other barn, I brought the main road that's gonna go here. So then I need to do the measurements for that. So again, only these measurements apply because they're made for what I want to do in my town. The idea is there, you like it, it's great, and not, you can make this smaller, you can make it 5, you can make it 4, you know, you can just make it very small, you can make it even longer, and because maybe you plan to have a lot more animals. So again, a lot of freedom when it comes to this part of the build on the outside here, and it just makes the walkway in the middle really cool because then you just walk in. We went ahead and put a lot of cobblestone just to match it on the other one, and to me just gave it that final look that looks really good. When it comes to the trim, again, you can use anything that you want. You don't have to do a trim. I kind of like in this particular build putting the cobblestone and then putting the fence on top. I thought it looked really nice, but again, it's not something that you have to do, and you can just put everything on dirt, you can put grass, really up to you how you want to approach it. Over here, I just decided, you know what, I'm not digging it, let me try something else. We already changed it on one side, we changed the oak beam from the white to the oak, so let's go ahead and do that. And then again, I'm reframing things just to see how it fits. So this is a great example that not everything you're gonna get in the first try. Your first idea of color palette, color combination may not work, but sometimes don't give up on the design. The design is good. Sometimes what makes it not look good is the execution of the blocks that we're using. And again, I'm talking about my experience during this video, and explaining my thought process, what I changed. Now, one of the big changes that I did, you saw that I put the soft wood to match the roofing, and I started to like that, but eventually it looked very boring. And what I did, I added windows in between that. On the middle here, it felt too empty, didn't like the look, so I was like, okay, let me do a trim with the stairs. This is something that I learned from previous build, from our very first build, and talking with different people about building like this. And so we went ahead, and I'm trying to now do a little trim right over here, and this went through a couple iterations. I do like it sometimes because the roofing has a weird thing. I prefer having this. Sometimes you don't need it. I guess it's gonna be depending on you, depending on your taste, and depending on the build. But I tried many different formats, making this, making that. See, I added all the stairs those, but again, it looks good. But at the end, I'm like, you know what? I don't like it. I prefer having the trim in the top. So then we're going to delete it again. And I left a little bit of this in because it's going to be depending on you. You may like something different that I did. And you're like, you know what? I like this way instead of the other way. So then you can go ahead and do that. Over here, I'm still doing the flat roof of the hay. As you can see, eventually that's going to change to the one that you saw on the walkthrough in the beginning of the video. But you may like the flat one better. And again, another reason why I left it, because sometimes, you know, it's good to see it, to see what other people did. Your taste will be very different than mine. And I hope that this either guides you for an idea. Maybe you like it flat, or maybe you like the one that we ended up using, right? Over to you. The one thing that I like is like the roofing, and then you see a little bit of the beam, so I like that a lot. Taking a quick break from that, then we're gonna start putting the fencing over here just to see the flow of everything. Again, I'm using this fence because I want things to match right now, but do any fence that you want in any tier from any zone that will fit the style of the barn that you are building, right? So again, I hope that you have a lot of fun picking and choosing your own color palette and your own build for that. Now those blocks over there, eventually if you saw the walkthrough, those get replaced by the cobblestone planters. I just thought it felt a lot better and made it and gave it a little more official look. Now over here we're doing the double doors. This one took me a moment because I didn't really know what I wanted to do for the barn door, because at first I wasn't planning to do that. I was just gonna put a beam and just have 2 walkways in and out. But I thought about the double doors, and I think it worked. I think it just looks good. You can leave them closed, you can leave them open. My idea is to, like you see right here, open it from the other side and make it feel open, so the sheep, when they're in here, they can go in and out, and just kind of makes it feel a little more alive, right? Because in Hytale, it's not gonna be like the people. We don't have a lot of NPCs. There's no NPCs here, right? In the sense to bring to your farm. So the animal is what's gonna make a little bit of this feel more alive. And I want the animals to be able to go in and out, in and out. So again, a choice right there. You can do any door, you can do no door, up to you. And then on the top of the doors, we put in a beam, and then on top of that beam, we went ahead and put the windows, right? And again, I started adding more windows. Was never the plan, but things were feeling off, and the window created more. It just felt like you can see a little bit through it. It felt nicer to look at, and again, it gave me that a little bit of that. Sometimes some of the stables and barns you can see on the top, so the air can breathe, right? The air can circulate. So that idea percolated, and I did that. And if you can see on top of the roof in the triangle, I took out 2 of the softwood block planks, and I put 2 windows. And very easy. It's just, if you want the windows, you want them. If you don't want to, you don't want to. Now over here is because I truly did not like the white birch anymore. I needed to get rid of that. And I remember what I did on the windmill, and I still had some leftover blocks of that, and I just needed to make a few little more. So not complicated, really easy to do. And so I went and did that, and then that's starting to give this barn, I think it gave it a little more elegance that I wanted to. I really wanted to feel a little more rustic, but it kind of has that feel, but the white little panel gave it a little accent. And then the trim on those blocks matched the oak wood. So it, in my opinion, I think it just worked out really well for me, and I like the way it looked. It worked out really well. So I was very happy about that. So once I decided to do that, then again, I like it. We look back. Now I look at the center. The center's not matching. The side's not matching. So all of that we're gonna have to change. And again, I was trying to do a little, kind of like a little, I forgot what you call those, on the top of the windows, but I did it with the blocks. The problem with that, the slab, and it's not bad, but I lost the detail from far away. I could not see it very well. It kind of just was meh. So eventually we do change that with the roof, with the hay. Now over here, again, I just could not be okay with the way this look. So I went ahead, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do 2 trims of the block, match the bottom, and then on the top, we're just gonna do hardwood and hardwood. Now you see that we got 2 windows lying here. Now the pattern looked a little off. I did not like it once we added the oak wood on the top, right? So we're gonna take the bottom windows and do that, and we're just gonna keep just the one on the top window. Now the great thing about that will match the 2 side ones. So it works out at the end. It really does. Now you see the side here, I went ahead and did it. I'm not gonna show you the whole process that I went to that one. Since I needed to duplicate it, I can do it on this side. And this side is the one you follow, and when you follow this one, you can just duplicate the other side. Now you saw me putting stairs underneath the beam just to give it that extra detail. So I really like what we did there. And now we're gonna work on this side. So you should be in the video at this point. It kind of looks like this, and you see how messy the white looks. It looks ugly. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. It looks ugly. It looks horrible. So, and I could not deal with it anymore. So it took me a while to figure out a good pattern on the other side, and that's what you're gonna be seeing build here. And I'm glad that once I got that side down, it was a lot easier, fresh in my mind to build it, to do this side, so you guys can follow it, because my goodness, that was a nightmare. I like a nightmare mess. Okay, so we're doing this here. I'm starting with the roof. As you can see, now we got the slanted instead of the flat one. That's gonna work better. Over here, I still put the slabs on this direction. We're doing the stairs upside down just to give us that trim and detail, but eventually that slab's gonna change to a lower roof that you saw in the beginning of the walkthrough. Now we adding this again, this block that I forgot the name of the block. Well, you know, it's on the workbench. Go over there and you can build it. We're doing this over here, and just the same thing as we did in the front of the barn, we're gonna do it right over here. And again, but once again, I really freely telling you, feel free to do whatever you want to do when it comes to the blocks, right? Make it your own. Do the blocks that you like, do the blocks that you love, and you're gonna be happy, you're gonna enjoy it to the fullest. But I am matching the front, so we're doing those two, and then we put in 2 windows. Originally, I was gonna go with the bigger opening, put the fencing, kind of like we did with the old barn and what we did in the front. But at the end, I decided, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with the windows. I think it's gonna look a little bit better, and I went that route. Now, this is where it's not tricky, it's still easy to follow here, but we are bringing the roof out once, right? And then we're creating that depth. That's going to be very important, creating that depth so things can start looking very well. Now, this is something different because in the original barn, we didn't do this. In my first build here in Hytale, I didn't do that. I could not make it look right. But here in this one, what we learned a little bit from the farm storage house, I was able to apply it here to a certain extent. And again, depending who you are, some things may bother you and not bother you, depending, like things that bother me may not bother you, things that bother you may not bother me. So again, you can keep it flat, you can keep it this, you can add the depth that I did. Maybe you don't need it and you're happy when you're building it. So it's gonna be free range for you depending how you want to approach it. But again, we are extending it because since we had the front extended, I felt like the side needed to be too. I just wanted it to match. So I came over here to double check on that detail because I kind of forgot how to do it. I checked it, I know what to do. So we're gonna start adding that now, all those details on the side, making sure that I was getting things correctly. And sometimes you gotta do that. You gotta go back and forth, something that you did and go back. I mean, some people are really good with memory and remembering what you did. I go with the luck. Sometimes I get it just right and I step back and like, oh my God, that looks good. How did I do that? I have no idea how I did it. Sometimes I get very lucky and luck out and things work out. And I do feel like that happens to me a lot, right? And all I can do is, good thing that I recorded, good thing that I can talk about it because it's still fresh in my mind and you guys can see it. And if you like it, you guys can try to do it as well, right? So again, now we're shaping the building. We're using a lot of the softwood over here. And I went with the softwood again because we're still in the first zone. And I think it just gives it a nice contrast against all the other. But feel free to do anything. Plus the softwood matches the roofing. And that's one of the other reasons why I'm using this one, because it does match the roofing. And I want the roof edge to match what's underneath, right? It just, again, it's something that bothers me. So I can't make the roof edges look good unless I feel like it needs a little bit more. But may not, it's a me problem, probably not a you problem. Okay, so as we're doing this, you're gonna notice that eventually all that white is gonna change. All of that is gonna become oak, and the oak that we had there, some of that oak is gonna become the white with the oak trim and all of that. And over here, I'm going ahead and just kind of doing the trim. Now the funny part about this is that I actually have to take a screenshot of the other side that I did, look at it to the computer so I can duplicate it over here, because again, it truly, you forget how you did things. And I don't know why my memory has never been that way, remembering right away. Some of the basic steps, yes, but some of the more elaborate detail that you need to do this and do that and all of that. Like I was already messing up, so I know I needed to like tweak it a little bit so we can make it look right, just like the other one. And one of the best ways to do that for me was to actually take a screenshot, so then I can look at the detail that I'm trying to duplicate instead of having to go back and forth, because in the beginning I was going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, over here, as you can see, I did the softwood planks, but all those softwood planks will be replaced with the oak, with the hardwood, right? And it's gonna look so much better, at least in my opinion. If you like the oak, you can keep it, but I went eventually with the oak one, and I just thought it just gave it a nice dark color and balance. Now over here, I do want to work on the roofing one more time. We're gonna bring in one layer down, and I really liked it when I brought it one down, as you can see over here. I think it just gave it a nice depth, a nice lower, and it just made a nice pattern. And I was like, you know, man, this looks really good, because we got one high and two low, and it just felt right. And again, it matched what we did in the front. And I don't know why it didn't click to me in the beginning, right? But sometimes you gotta work in pattern and in tandem with something that you already work. And sometimes if you look at what you did before and do it on the other side, then it's gonna match. And that's basically what we did. Now, one of the things that we're doing on the two little ones, you see that I kind of rounded the corners. I liked it. It was a hard choice to do, because I like both. I like the one that is completely just normal roofing, like you see right there, and I also like the one that curved it on the side. Now I went with the curved one just to give it something different right now into the build, and because I never done it. But if you like the other one better, then you can keep it, right? I'm gonna leave it up to you. Now on the front over here, we do got the slab, and we're gonna do that roofing that we just did also on the side. We're gonna do it on the front, so that's gonna be important. So just remember, if we didn't, I think I do show it, but if for some reason to show it, we're gonna do it. Now, something that I'm not liking in the game, and this is bothering me, you can tell me that's happened too. I already asked some people in my chat, they said that happens too. But you know what's the most annoying part right now building Hytale is when you log out and you come back in, you come to your build, and there's a bunch of blocks missing. Oh my word. I don't know why it keeps happening. I don't like it. It's annoying. It's annoying. I hope that it's just part of the early access and all of that, because you know, you do a lot of work and then you notice there's a lot of things missing and you're like, man, what? Well, anyway, if it happens to you, let me know, but I'm not a fan. Okay, so now we took out what I mentioned earlier. We took out the trim, the windows in the bottom. We took that out. We added the hardwood, and again, now that we did that, I want to add the top back, and I think that framed it very well. And I feel like now the front has a really good frame right there in the middle. I'm like very happy. I'm like, okay, I like it. So let me do that now on the sides as well. I believe that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna clean this up. I'm trying to remember what I did, because it was just so many things. But yeah, I think we're gonna clean this up, because I want to see the same thing and kind of give it that same shape that we did in the front. We want to do it on the side, but we're gonna add a little more of this white right here. And it finally got to that point, because I thought we did it. I was like, you know, I can't even remember my own things that I did. You see this? You see this? I'm telling you. And I'm glad that I'm recording, because if I had to like do the whole build and then trying to do it from the very beginning, and trust me that I have watched so many of my own builds back just to build them myself, because I don't really remember how to do it. You know, if I do it, and it's just gonna look different. You know, if I wanted to look the same, then I had to like think better. But you see how we're changing now the softwood plank for the hardwood plank. I thought that made the biggest difference in the side of the barn. I think it makes the trim stand out more. I like the look of the barn. It just looks great, looks good. It has a good color now. The white stands out. The trim of the roofing stands out. Like everything just started standing out. And I'm like, okay, this is officially now the way it's gonna stay. You know, because sometimes you do all this stuff and you don't feel like it's gonna stay, but this one definitely was gonna stay. And now we got this beautiful shape. Now what we did one side, we're gonna do it on the other, and then voila, everything started looking good, and we can start working on the inside. Now the inside is very easy, very straightforward, just depending what you would like to do for your own roofing, the inside, like how tall you want this barn stable to be for you, right? I did it in a particular height because it just seems to work good, and I know I wasn't going to use the space on the top. Now you can go higher and leave the windows open. The height that I did it, you don't see that you can't like utilize the windows on the second part, but it wasn't never meant for that. It was just for show, so I'm okay with that. But as you can see over here, this is where we're gonna start shaping out the roof. So I'm going, you see the white, like right when the trim, when we did the edging, we're gonna go higher one more, so it should start lining up with the roof. So my thinking was that I don't want to see the roof pieces at all this time around. Now for all the builds, I left them and it looks really good. For this particular build in the barn, I was like, I don't want to see this roof, also because there's a little mismatch ugliness underneath it where we did the front. It just didn't look good. So I was like, you know what, now you can kind of high, you can go, instead of what I did here, you can go stay on the inside and go higher on the other block. You could do it that way if you wanted to and create more of a shape, but I decided to go very flat on this roof, just one flat. So what we're doing here, you do one, right? You start in the corner, leave a space, do it again, leave a space, do it again, and then on the one in between, the ones that are empty, once you finish doing the sequence, then you're gonna put another type of wood. Now you can go with the same block and just a different type of wood just to give it a tone, or what I did, I did one of the platforms, and it gave it a different look with a different beam, and that's what I decided to do, just to give the roof something a little bit different, a little more depth and a little more detail. And again, my goal here truly was to hide the roof. I didn't want to see the roof. It didn't feel, compared with the other stuff that I did, that I'm like, wow, look at this and the high ceilings. On this particular way, I didn't care. So again, up to you. So we're using this right here. I went ahead and did it this long way so we can see that extra being underneath it. And again, I just did it for detail. Feel free to do whatever you want in between. You can do another block color, the same block, up to you. It is in the dark tone. I wish this particular style was in another block, but it is the same one. But it did the trick that I wanted, and it was a little bit higher, give me a little bit of depth. It just creates a cool structure in the roof, so when you look up, you see big beam and little beam and big beam, little beam, and kind of like extra depth when you look on the top, and it just looks really cool. I really like, look at that. I just feel like it looks really cool. I really like it. I always like to back out, go in and out. It's a habit of mine, but I really like it because I like to appreciate and see if everything is working correctly. Now over here, this is where now you're in the inside. Now this is your domain. You don't have to do anything that I'm doing here, and you can figure out your own layout for your stable. You want more separation, you don't want any columns, go for it. You want to do different fencing, you want to do more storage units, you name it. It's gonna be really up to you. But what I decided to do is just from the door beams to the other door beams, basically I dig out, I did a whole cobblestone edging, because then we're gonna put the fencing and the beams. Now if you look very carefully when we start this video, or at the end when you see the nighttime walkthrough, or in the beginning walkthrough, you see that over here you're gonna see me putting the cobblestone, right? But I actually changed it at the end in one of my walkthroughs. I didn't record it, but I was like, oh man, I don't like, there was something weird about the cobblestone, the way it was matching the flooring, that I decided to go with. So I was like, you know what, no, I just don't like it. And I went ahead and put the oak wood as a trim, exactly where I'm putting the cobblestone now. So if you liked it, go back, check it out in the beginning or at the end, see if you like it. If you like it, keep it, or you can keep it with dirt too, or the wood, whatever wood panel, if you want wood inside the stable, because I went that route. I went there on the outside and wood on the inside. So again, really up to you. And this is when Hytale is great. A lot of freedom to do things the way you want, or to match the aesthetic of whatever you're building in your area. So again, so we got it right over here. Don't forget that eventually it won't be on the video, only on the walkthroughs, but I did change that cobblestone to the hardwood that we're doing here. And I for me, I thought that it looked really good. So we added one beam on the corner. Again, we're basically matching the beams of the area. So again, matching there, and we're bringing it all the way to the roof, just matching right there. Very straightforward. Again, if you feel like there is too many beams, my only complaint with the build, it will be that in the inside, it's really hard to judge. I'm gonna get better, but sometimes I can't judge things correctly. The walkway came out narrow. Now I did a 3 because I wanted to match the idea that you can see the arch garden across it, and it looks incredible. I really do like it, but I just feel like it came back to narrow. Maybe I should have gone 5. That would have made the building a little bit wider, but I think that would have been fine. But again, up to you. If you feel like the beams are making it, or the columns are making it way too small, claustrophobic, then I know you can do something to make it feel more open. Again, I don't think you need the beams. Maybe you just keep one and keep the rest open. Really up to you. But whatever you decide to do, let me know. So then maybe I add it in another build. So over here we're adding the fencing, and then some areas I left the gap where we're gonna put the gates, because that's gonna be important. Then you start adding the gates of the area, and some of them will have more gates and other. Now you saw that in all 4 places I went ahead and did the gate, because I was thinking doing the same thing on the back. I was gonna do the front, but then I remember, wait, where I'm gonna put the stuff that are gonna be when you're harvesting, right? The animals and stuff like that. Whichever animal, I think it's gonna be the sheep that's gonna go here, but if whatever it is, I need to put that stuff in storage. So then I took one idea and did that. Now in every beam in front of it, you're gonna put a little rope. You're gonna put the light source. That's gonna be up to you if you want to do it this way, or come up with your own light source way. Now this is when that's when I started thinking, man, I don't have a place in here for the animal, whatever animal. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the sheep, but whatever animal I decide to put here, I need a place to put either their food if I want to, or whatever I'm collecting from them, I want to put it in storage here, so it makes sense, right? And that's when, again, I was like, okay, then I'm gonna pick one of these corners, because I didn't want to go to the attic. It's a little small, it's not comfortable, and I didn't want to undo the roof after I did everything. So I just like, you know what, we're just gonna do storage right back here, right? Since it's gonna be the storage area, so I decided just to do a little more of a window pattern, just it looks a little bit better. We're doing a wall now. It's not open, it's a solid wall going across, and again we're gonna enclose this. It took me forever on the side when you go in, but I did decide to close it completely. And then the 2 front that you can see right now, 1 and 2, those I still left it open. I almost thought about closing it, making it like a more of a room, and as I was trying to do it, it already looked like way too claustrophobic. I was like, you know what, no, it's okay, we're gonna leave it open in the front. We're just gonna close out the 2 walls in the back and the one on the side, and we do that. Now as you can see over here, I went first with the softwood plank because I already had it in my pocket. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with this one. I already had it, but eventually I didn't like it and I changed it, and I used the same one that I did for my roof, not my roof, but my farmer storage, and it's still in the softwood, I believe, category, but it's a different type of flooring. You see it in the walkthrough in the beginning or in the end, so you can see that, and then you can craft that one. And I thought it looked better, a little better for the farm, but again, flooring is like anything, it's very subjective, so it's going to be up to you which one you want to do to look. Now the funny part is that for the storage area I kept this one, but for the animal, is the other 3 is the one that I changed for the animals. So that's how that worked out there at the end. Okay, so I did the storage. You put the fencing, do the storage whichever way you want. I didn't show exactly how I did it because it's gonna be up to you how you want to do the storage. But I like the difference of chests. Just for looks, I feel like it looks nicer, so that's what we did. Now we're working on the wall on the side over here because I do feel like I want to have a little bit of more separation from the storage area compared with the rest. So we went ahead again, everything that we've been doing on all the other sides of the walls, we want to do it over here. So we did 2 whites and then 1 oak in the middle, and just created a nice little pattern to go with everything. But I do like it. It feels different when you see it, and we go there. Now on the roof over here, it felt a little different. Again, very subjective. Sometimes I like the details, sometimes I feel like I did too much. Again, I will let this be up to you. If you want to do that extra trim, do it. If you don't want to, you don't want to. Since I'm learning, I'm very undecisive. If I'm like, oh, this looks cool, but maybe I'm like, man, but am I overdoing it for a barn? You always got these doubts in your mind. I like it. I kept it for now. I just feel like it gives it a very nice detail into the build, and it feels like it's really supporting the weight of the roof. And that it is one of my favorite things when I look at builds like this. It just feels like, okay, this is here and it's supporting this, right? And I do like the feel of that. Again, we went with softwood just because we do have softwood in the trim and in some of the areas in the front doing the same thing. So I thought it would be a nice thing to tie it in with the rest of the build, and we went with softwood here. Again, you can choose any stairs you want to make this detail if that's something that you want to go. Now this is something that we did in the original barn. I wanted to bring it here just to give us a little more detail when it comes to the beam and something really cool to look at. And there you go, we added those. Again, do any fancy block that you want. And now in the inside here, really easy. I'm not just gonna leave it all in, but basically we take all the dirt one way and then down the center, and we're gonna put cobblestone. And this is the same thing that we did in the original barn, that I felt like it just really gave it a nice more look. Again, you can go with hardwood flooring, any type of flooring that you want. Keep it dirt. You want to leave it grass, really up to you. Now we're gonna take the dirt on the other side and do the same thing. So this part of the process should be very simple, and we're getting very close to the end of the video, guys, because we're doing this and we do a little bit on the back, and then at the end we do a little walkthrough at night, and that's it. Then you got the build, made it your own. Hopefully you'll follow it. Don't forget to slow down the video. If there are some sections that you need to go over, all of that, tag me in any of the social media so I can see how yours came out and how many more awesome improvements you did compared with the one that I did. And I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna make such an amazing job that I will be jealous of what you made. But again, I decided to go with cobblestone. I just feel like it looks really nice, and it complements everything that we're doing in this build nicely with the because it's like one of the cool tones that we had compared with all the dark tones that we have. So I just think it just complements very well. And then again, if you want to see all the extra details that were added a little later on into the build, that there are not many, but kind of the way I did my walk and stuff like that, then you can rewatch the intro or the ending of it. So here is now we going into each of the areas where the animals are gonna go, and again all of that is gonna change. I ended up putting the softwood plank first, but again it changes to the other block of the wood that we did use in the storage house. But you can go back again to the beginning or at the end of the video and see the flooring from there and which one we use. That I feel like it looks nicer. And then I only left this particular flooring on the storage area to also give us a little bit of separation between the animals and the storage. Again, I did do the block underneath the door. I tried both way. I just left it with the block outside of the door. I think it looks better that way. Very subjective. feel free to do whichever way you want. Now I'm finally doing the outside roofing here because it's one of the last detail that we needed, and I thought it was important. I like what we did on the side, and I think it's just gonna make things look better. If you saw a little bit on the other side, it gets lost. This one stands out, so I did feel like it was just so much better if we do it this way. And then we're gonna make the little corners just what we did on the sides of the barn. Again, we're gonna do that here, and I just feel like it just worked together very well, and a lot of detail got put in, but not too much that it takes away of the idea of this initial projects that we're learning to do. Now, I can't wait to do more details on more complicated projects and projects that we need. But again, I feel like each build is taking me in this journey, and I'm learning a lot and adding more detail every time that we do something. So now we're finally doing the last area. And again, basically what we did in the front, you duplicate it in the back just one more time. So really straightforward. You put your panels, you put your blocks, you put your fencing, fence it in depending how big or long you want it. Maybe you don't need a third one, and maybe you want to make the whole back of the barn storage. That's a great option as well, and you can go that route. So many options for you, right? Many options on the way you decide to take these builds into consideration for your area. Now we're gonna again, you're gonna see us cleaning more of the other areas because it's important. We're gonna put the softwood planks. So again, I left it in. I thought maybe, I don't know, I just felt like, you know what, let's just put it in and leave it here, you know. But I think you guys know what we're doing here, and just choose what you want. Again, the flooring is really optional. It's gonna be up to you. Dirt, hay, soil with this, any type. As long as you got a flooring that you like for the animals on the inside and the outside, you're gonna be a happy person, right? And that's, again, one of the most important things. And when it comes to designing, you gotta be happy. You're the one that's gonna see it every day. Not me, not your friend, not anybody, not your neighbor, but you. But here it is. This is the walkthrough at night. So you saw it during the day in the beginning of the video, but now we're showing you at night, and I do feel like we shaped it out nicely at the end. I think everything worked out together. I think it's such a big improvement compared with our original one and my very first build. I already see improvement on my own. I'm very happy about this. Look at the back, we got some hay. The lighting is really good. Eventually we'll complete that whole fencing that we've been doing with the tree farm. All of that will loop around right over here. Love the way it looks on the inside. I think it has a lovely color at night and warm with the light. I think we did a really good job with the lighting here. Spreading it. It took me a moment to go here and here and here where to put it, but I think it looks really good. Again, at night, some of these builds look so much better at night for some reason compared with the day. But hey, I love it, right? I love it. Look at all the detail that we got put in. You see the new flooring on the bottom, another feeder that I was able to find in our travels. And if you were in that stream, that was a fun stream, and we found it, and I was like, I'm taking it with me. I need more, and hopefully we find more villages that have that, because I don't think I can craft it yet. At least I haven't seen it. Storage area, the ladder leads to the attic. This is one of my favorite things, seeing that view. Eventually I'm gonna come up with a system to connect all of this. I got some ideas to make it really cool and different compared with the stuff that we did. But again, this is our new barn stable for the sheep, because I'm pretty sure that's what we're gonna put there. So I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more Hytale videos, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.